All right, so in this episode of Overrated, Underrated, we are going to be talking about consistent dieting. And before we dive into that, I want to say something kind of right out of the gate because I know that people who are really into diet culture or into dieting as a whole might come after me a bit for this video. So one thing I want to clarify is if you have ever struggled with an eating disorder or disordered eating by any means, dieting is most likely not for you. It can be really dangerous and triggering and something that you should avoid as a whole. Going along with that, if you have special dietary restrictions or things you are allergic to, that is different than consistent dieting because it's a lifestyle change you have to make in order to take care of yourself in the appropriate way. And then the last thing before we really get into it is that if you are training for a serious event, like an athletic event or a marathon or a triathlon or an Ironman or anything like that, sometimes you have to go through a period of structured dieting so that you can get to the performance level that you're trying to get. Okay, so consistent dieting, and this is overrated. And there are a few reasons that dieting and consistent dieting is overrated. So consistent dieting is when people who are young adults spend a majority of their life kind of flipping through these different diet trends. And there are a lot of things wrong with that because, first of all, most diets are not sustainable. There's a huge difference between dieting and lifestyle changes. Most of the time, diets require you to be in a deficit of some sort or consistently counting your macros or your calories that still leave you in that deficit, which can often mean you're not getting the nutrients that your body needs in order to survive or thrive and operate at the way and level that it should be operating at. So for the first couple of weeks or couple of months, you might be seeing the changes that you want to see. You're losing that weight. But after a while, your body adjusts to the way that it's being fed and the nutrients that it's receiving. So it will eventually plateau and you will stop seeing that weight loss drop that you had initially wanted to see when venturing onto that diet. And that can lead to people feeling negative about themselves and going back to that mindset of, oh, it's not working. I need to try something new. So people start to feel like their diets aren't working for them anymore. They're not cutting down their calories or their macros the way that they should be doing it. And there's this sense of guilt and stress and anxiety that might have initially pushed them into trying a diet for the first time because those negative self-perceptions kind of start to set back in. So people may take a cheat day or they may break their diet as a whole. And the thing with diets is there's no flexibility. Once you start to mess up, you've broken the way that you've been feeding your body and the way that it's adjusted to. So there's a lot of room for gaining back the weight and returning to the way you were before you put it under this severe restriction from whatever diet you decided to venture on. But the thing is, diets aren't sustainable either way. So you're putting yourself through this cycle of restriction and control and pretty much oppression only to end back up in that same self-critical monologue. And for people who are consistent dieters and spend a majority of their life cycling through these different diet trends, you are spending your life not only criticizing yourself and validating the fact that you don't feel like you're worth much unless you look a certain way or eat a certain type of way, but you are also messing up your hormones, potentially for the long term, and setting yourself up kind of to always be feeling like you need to change in order to be valuable. You really take away from your relationship with yourself and potentially your relationship with other people because there's a lack of flexibility when it comes to dieting. That can take away a lot from the experiences you have with the people you care about the most. So dieting, overrated. Something that's incredibly underrated, lifestyle choices and intuitive eating. There is a serious difference between dieting and following a lifestyle choice that leaves you feeling energized, positive, and good about your body, and leaves room for you to get all the nutrients that you need in order to have a healthy body and healthy organs. For instance, there can be people who follow diet trends that actually turn into lifestyle choices that work well for them. For example, I know a couple people who do keto, and initially it might have started out as a diet trend, something they were doing initially to lose some weight, but then over time they adapted into their lifestyle because it made them feel better as a person. It made their body feel more energized. It made them feel good about themselves, and it wasn't depriving them of their essential nutrients or their calories or leaving them anywhere in that state of deprivation and restriction, which is a huge part of dieting as a whole. And that's the difference between dieting and lifestyle choices, because lifestyle choices are a lot more flexible. They don't deprive you or restrict you in any way, and they leave you feeling satiated, happy, and good within your body. And here's the thing about intuitive eating. It's all about balance and listening to your body and tuning in with yourself and giving it what it wants and what it needs. It doesn't mean you're eating bad food every single day or you're eating only really healthy, great food for you every single day. It's about listening to yourself. What is your body craving? And paying attention to that and incorporating that into the way that you're feeding yourself. Because with dieting, there's these no's and can'ts, and you're not allowed to do this, which can lead to severe cravings in those moments where you have a cheat day or you break your cycle and you have to start over again. Whereas if you do something that's a lifestyle choice or intuitive eating, you leave room to have what you're craving and to listen to your body and give it what it wants without feeling guilt or shame or having to start over. How many people go on diets and end up having to start over because they mess up or they break their diet or they have that serious cheat day and they feel like junk about themselves? And you don't want to live in a place where you consistently feel like you need to change or alter the way you are or feel this guilt, this stress, and this shame based off of the things that you're eating. Life shouldn't be about feeling controlled and restricted by your food when food is supposed to provide you with energy and room to experience the rest of your life because it fuels you. Thank you for tuning into this clip of Overrated and Underrated. Let me know what you guys think and what topics you would like for me to discuss next.